Welcome back to English Pronounce Pro.
It's great to have everyone here with us.
Our last session introduced British versus American English.
Yes, we highlighted pronunciation as a key area.
Why is understanding these differences so important?
It helps with clear global communication.
Does it aid students in particular?
Absolutely, especially for academic settings.
And professionals interacting internationally?
Yes, for business and diplomatic relations too.
So, it's about avoiding misunderstandings?
Precisely, it smooths cross-cultural interactions.
Does it make listening easier?
It improves comprehension significantly.
How did these two forms of English even diverge?
They began splitting centuries ago.
Was it after American independence?
Yes, but influences started earlier.
So, colonial history played a role?
A major one, indeed, in linguistic evolution.
Did new environments shape vocabulary?
Yes, and pronunciation also adapted locally.
So, geographical separation was key?
It allowed distinct forms to emerge naturally.
Interesting. What about the overall sound?
Accent and intonation are core differences.
What defines a British accent sound?
It often sounds more clipped or formal.
And an American accent sound?
It can appear more relaxed, sometimes flatter.
Do the rhythm patterns vary a lot?
Yes, British English often has different stress.
Can you give an example of intonation?
Think about how questions rise and fall.
Is the musicality of speech truly different?
There are noticeable distinctions in melody.
How does that affect listener perception?
It contributes to the overall accent impression.
Is there a specific sound difference to start with?
Let's discuss rhotic versus non-rhotic R.
What exactly does rhotic mean?
It means pronouncing the R sound.
Where in the word does this apply?
Specifically after a vowel sound.
So, like the R in car or park.
Exactly, American English is rhotic.
And British English is non-rhotic?
Generally, yes, in standard forms like RP.
They wouldn't pronounce the R in car?
No, it often sounds more like the
Or park for park then?
You've got it, that's a key distinction.
Does this make words sound very different?
It significantly alters the word's ending.
So, water would be water in British.
Yes, without the strong R sound.
Does it apply to all words with R?
Only when R follows a vowel.
Are there exceptions to this rule?
Some British regional accents are rhotic.
But standard RP is non-rhotic?
That's the widely recognized pattern.
This is a fundamental pronunciation difference.
It's one of the most prominent ones.
Moving to vowels, how about in bath?
This is another classic pronunciation split.
How do Americans say bath?
They use a sound like cat.
So, it's a bath for them?
No, it's bath, with the flat a.
And British English pronounces it differently?
Yes, with a longer a sound.
So, like bath then?
Precisely, that's the common RP pronunciation.
Does this apply to many other words?
Yes, words like grass, dance, chance.
So, grass versus grass sounds?
That comparison is very accurate.
Why did this particular vowel diverge?
It's part of the trap bath split in history.
So, a historical phonetic change occurred?
Yes, affecting a specific set of words.
Does this difference cause confusion?
Not typically, but it marks an accent clearly.
Is it a difficult sound for learners?
It requires practice to distinguish.
Any other prominent vowel differences?
Let's look at the O in words like hot.
How do Americans typically say hot?
They use a short, open a sound.
So, like the O in got or stop.
Yes, a very similar open vowel.
And British English for hot?
It's a more rounded O sound.
Like a softer O, perhaps.
More like haw or hot with a slight rounding.
Is this known as the cock-quarter merger?
That's related. American English often merges them.
So, cot and quart sound alike in AE.
For many Americans, yes, they do.
But not in British English?
They remain distinct sounds in most cases.
How does that impact listening?
It can be a point of minor confusion.
Are there other examples of this O sound?
Words like on dog, coffee often vary.
So, coffee vs coffee differences?
Exactly, the vowel quality changes.
It sounds like a subtle yet common shift.
It's definitely a noticeable characteristic.
Beyond individual sounds, what about stress?
Word stress patterns often differ.
Can you give an example of word stress?
The word address is a perfect example.
How is address stressed in American English?
It's usually address, stressed on the second syllable.
And in British English?
Often address, stressed on the first syllable.
Does this apply to both noun and verb forms?
Sometimes it varies, but generally yes.
So, project is another?
Project, noun versus verb.
Are there other words with different stress?
Garage and ballet also show variations.
So, garage vs garage?
Precisely, with different syllable emphasis.
Does this significantly change the meaning?
Not usually, but it marks the accent.
Can it lead to any misinterpretation?
Rarely, but it can sound unfamiliar.
It sounds like a fundamental rhythm aspect.
It's a key part of the accent's cadence.
What about unstressed vowels?
The schwa sound is used differently.
What is the schwa sound exactly?
It's that sound in unstressed syllables.
Like the in about for banana.
Yes, very short and neutral.
How does its usage differ between accents?
British English might use it less frequently.
Can you provide a specific example?
Consider words with unstressed o or e.
Like in secretary or moment.
Yes, the vowel reduction can vary.
Does American English reduce more vowels?
Often yes, in faster speech.
So, more sounds in AE?
Potentially in certain contexts, yes.
Is this a subtle difference?
Can be, but it adds to the overall flow.
Does it make speech sound more casual?
It often contributes to that perception.
So, understanding schwa is important?
It's vital for natural pronunciation.
What about the T sound in words?
T-glottalization is a notable feature.
What is T-glottalization?
It's when the T becomes a glottal stop.
So, it's not a clear T sound?
No, the throat closes to stop air.
Like in butter or water.
Precisely, especially in British English.
How do Americans pronounce butter or water?
They often use a flap T or soft D sound.
So, butter and water sounds?
That's a very good way to describe it.
But British English uses a glottal stop.
Yes, making it sound like bur or war.
Is this common in all British accents?
It's very prevalent, especially in Cockney and estuary.
Even in RP sometimes?
Yes, in certain positions it can occur.
Does it apply to T at the end of words?
Yes, like cat might be in some accents.
So, the closure of the throat is key.
It defines the glottalized T sound.
This sounds like a very distinct phonetic shift.
Certainly is, and quite characteristic.
What about the U sound in some words?
Yaw dropping is another interesting phenomenon.
What is yo dropping?
It's dropping the Y sound before O.
Like the Y in tune or due.
Yes, in words like tune, duke, new.
How is tune pronounced in American English?
Often as tune, dropping the Y sound.
So, without the tau sound?
Correct, it becomes a direct OO sound.
And in British English?
Many pronounce the Y sound, t.
So, new vs new for new.
That's a good way to hear the difference.
Does this apply to words like duty?
Yes, duty versus duty can be heard.
Why does this happen in American English?
It's a historical simplification of articulation.
Is it universal across all American accents?
No, some Americans still retain the yod.
But generally, it's less common in AE.
That's the prevailing pattern in general American.
So, listen for that subtle Y sound.
It's a good marker of accent differences.
These differences must create listening challenges.
Indeed, they can be a source of difficulty.
What makes an unfamiliar accent hard to understand?
Different rhythms and sound shifts disrupt parsing.
So, our brains are used to specific patterns?
Yes, and deviations require mental adjustment.
Can vocabulary differences also play a role?
Yes, if words are pronounced in unfamiliar ways.
Like schedule or aluminium.
Precisely, the sound spelling link shifts.
Does speed of speech increase difficulty?
Rapid speech exacerbates comprehension issues.
What about intonation for questions?
Different rising and falling patterns confuse.
Are there common phrases that sound odd?
Yes, without context, some can be jarring.
So, active listening is crucial?
It is, along with exposure and practice.
Does media consumption help with this?
Immersion through media is very effective.
It sounds like a continuous learning process.
It absolutely is for second language learners.
We've focused on two main forms of English.
Yes, British and American standard forms.
But aren't there many regional accents?
There's vast diversity within each.
Like RP versus Cockney in Britain?
Exactly, they are very distinct.
And general American versus Southern accent?
Another clear example of internal variation.
So, British English isn't just one accent.
No, it's a spectrum of regional dialects.
The same applies to American English, too.
Yes, from Boston to Texas, huge variety.
Does this complicate learning even more?
It adds layers of richness, rather than complexity.
So, learners should be aware of this?
Understanding diversity prevents overgeneralization.
Should we aim for a specific regional accent?
Not necessarily, focus on intelligibility first.
So, the standards are a good starting point?
RP and General American are good benchmarks.
This broader view is very helpful.
It reflects the true nature of global English.
How can our audience improve their pronunciation?
Consistent practice is always key.
What's a good first step for learners?
Listen actively to native speakers.
Should they focus on specific sounds?
Yes, target the differences we discussed today.
Like the ha sound or the in bath.
Those are excellent starting points.
What about shadowing techniques?
Shadowing is incredibly effective for rhythm.
So, imitating immediately after hearing?
Yes, trying to match the speaker's cadence.
Should learners record themselves?
Self-recording helps identify areas for improvement.
And comparing it to native speakers?
That provides valuable immediate feedback.
Are there online resources for this?
Many apps and websites offer pronunciation tools.
So, regular exposure is essential?
Daily immersion reinforces learning.
It sounds like patience is also important.
Pronunciation improvement takes consistent effort.
We've covered many differences today.
Yes, focusing heavily on pronunciation.
Is there one correct accent to aim for?
Absolutely not, that's a common misconception.
So, no accent is superior to another?
All standard accents are linguistically valid.
Is it about being understood then?
Mutual intelligibility is the primary goal.
Does a strong accent hinder communication?
Only if it makes understanding truly difficult.
So, clarity over correctness?
Precisely, clear communication is paramount.
Should learners feel proud of their own accent?
Yes, accents are a natural part of identity.
It's about adapting, not erasing?
Learning to switch between forms is a great skill.
So, embracing linguistic diversity is key?
It enriches our global conversations.
This is a very empowering perspective.
It encourages confident communication worldwide.
So, no need to eliminate one's native accent?
No, focus on being clearly understood instead.
That's a fantastic takeaway for today.
We aim to empower every English speaker.
So, understanding is the main objective.
Yes, and confident, effective communication.
This concludes our deep dive into pronunciation.
Thank you for exploring these details with us.
We hope this helped clarify key differences.
Remember to subscribe for more pronunciation tips.
Join us next time on English Pronounce Pro.
We'll continue our comparison of B versus AE.
Next, we'll delve into vocabulary and grammar.
Don't miss it for more valuable insights.
Goodbye for now, everyone.
See you in the next session.
Keep practicing your pronunciation skills.
Your efforts will surely pay off.
We're here to help you on your journey.
Tune in for more expert guidance soon.
Thank you for being part of our community.
We appreciate your dedication to learning.
Improving your English is a rewarding process.
And we're here to support every step.
Stay curious and keep exploring English.
There's always more to discover together.
So, until our next session, goodbye.
Farewell and happy practicing, everyone.
Welcome back to English Pronounce Pro.
It's great to be with you again.
Last time, we explored pronunciation nuances.
Yes, those spoken distinctions were fascinating.
We covered how sounds vary between dialects,
And why those differences exist.
Today, our focus shifts.
From sound to words themselves.
We're talking vocabulary and spelling.
A crucial area for clear communication.
So many interesting divergences exist.
Indeed, they often surprise learners.
Let's start with the world of vehicles.
A perfect everyday example.
What about the rear storage area of a car?
In Britain, it's typically called the boot.
While in America, we say trunk.
Both are universally understood in context.
And the front cover over the engine?
That's the bonnet for Brits.
Americans refer to it as the hood.
These are common foundational differences.
Could this lead to confusion in a garage?
Potentially, if instructions are ambiguous.
Asking for the boot latch versus trunk release. We just discussed garage terms, like booter versus trunk.
Exactly, after covering pronunciation, vocabulary, and spelling previously.
So, moving from those clear differences, what's next?
Today we dive into grammatical nuances. It's often subtler.
How do these nuances impact daily communication?
They can cause misunderstandings or sound awkward.
Like what specific areas should we watch out for?
We covered vocabulary and spelling, which clarified terms.
Right, remembering specific words or different spellings.
Now we'll see how grammar variations create distinct patterns.
So, less about tire versus tire, more about sentence structure.
Precisely. It's about how words relate and agreements are formed.
Does incorrect grammar cause more problems than mispronounced words?
Grammar often affects meaning or formality more directly.
So it's not just sounding different, but potentially misunderstanding.
Yes, or sounding native to one dialect, not the other.
This makes a lot of sense. Recap complete.
Excellent. Let's start with collective nouns agreement.
The team is or question, right?
Yes, in British English, collective nouns often take a plural verb.
So, the team are playing well sounds correct there.
Absolutely. It emphasizes the individuals within the group.
But American English would always use a singular verb.
The team is playing well is standard in the US.
Even if referring to multiple members of the team?
The focus is on the team as a single unit or entity.
Does this difference cause actual confusion?
It rarely impedes understanding, but it sounds distinct.
Could it be perceived as grammatically incorrect by some?
A British speaker might find the American usage jarring.
And vice versa, perhaps.
Americans might pause at a plural verb for a singular entity.
Does this apply to other collective nouns?
Government, committee, family, and public are common examples.
So, the government are debating in the UK?
Yes, that's a perfectly natural construction there.
Whereas the government is debating in the US.
Correct. It's treated as a singular body.
What if the context shifts focus to individuals?
Even then, the tendency to use singular remains strong in AE.
Is there ever an exception to this rule?
Sometimes members of clarifies the individual aspect.
So, members of the family are arriving, works globally.
Yes, that phrasing sidesteps the core grammatical variation.
Does this rule extend to general group nouns?
Mostly for established collective nouns, not just any group.
So, the crowd is cheering in both dialects.
Generally, yes, as crowd is seen as a singular mass.
What if it's the audience for a performance?
Similar patterns apply. Singular in AE, plural possible in B.
This seems like a subtle but consistent difference.
It's one of those hallmark distinctions in formal grammar.
Does it ever lead to serious miscommunication?
Rarely serious, but it can create a noticeable accent in writing.
So, consistency within a document is key?
Absolutely, for professional and academic clarity.
And for listeners, it's a recognition point?
Precisely. It marks a speaker's regional linguistic background.
Understood. That's a clear distinction.
Right. Moving on from collective nouns then.
What about past tense forms? Like got versus gotten?
Yes, the past participle of get varies significantly.
In what way? Got seems pretty universal.
British English uses got for both simple past and past participle.
So, I have got a new car in the UK?
Exactly. Or I have got to go for obligation.
And in American English, it's gotten for the participle.
Yes, for sense of acquiring or becoming, it's gotten.
So, I have gotten a new car in the US.
That's the typical American usage for acquisition.
What about obligation? I have got to go?
For obligation, it uses got also or have to go.
That's confusing. When is gotten definitely used?
When something has been obtained or has become something.
Give me an example beyond the car.
He has gotten much better at tennis.
And in BE, that would be, he has got much better.
Correct. Just got covers both meanings in B.
Does using gotten in the UK sound odd?
It can sound distinctly American or even slightly old-fashioned.
And using got in the US for participle?
It's less common, and might sound unfinished or incorrect.
Does this distinction really matter in conversation?
It's a strong indicator of a speaker's dialectal background.
Could it lead to minor misinterpretations?
Unlikely for got/gotten specifically, but it adds to the overall sound.
So, more about regional flavor than actual misunderstanding?
Precisely. It contributes to the linguistic texture.
Are there other verbs with such past participle variations?
Fit sometimes, but get is the most prominent example.
He has fit versus he has fitted?
Fitted is standard participle in both, but AE might use fit for clothes.
This gotten difference feels very ingrained.
It is. Mastering it helps you sound more natural.
So, if I'm speaking AE, I should favor gotten where appropriate.
Yes, for acquiring or becoming, absolutely.
And got for obligation still?
Yes, I've got to go is universal for necessity.
Okay, I'll try to remember that specific nuance.
Good. Now on to preposition use variations.
Like that versus on the weekend?
Exactly. Prepositions are notorious for regional differences.
How is weekend used differently?
In British English, it's typically at the weekend.
So, I'll see you at the weekend in the UK?
That's the standard phrasing, very common.
And in American English, it's on the weekend?
Yes, I'll see you on the weekend is prevalent in the US.
Does this difference ever cause confusion for plans?
Rarely, because the context usually clarifies the meaning.
But it sounds distinct to each ear?
Definitely. It's a noticeable, albeit minor, marker.
Are there other common prepositional variations?
In a street, be versus on a street, AE for location.
So, she lives in Oxford Street, in London?
Correct. That's the natural British expression.
And she lives on Main Street, in the US?
Precisely. Both are grammatically correct within their dialects.
What about different from versus different to?
Different from is universally accepted. Different to is more be.
So, this is different to that is a Britishism?
Yes, it's common in informal British usage.
And different than is American?
Different than is also American, often when comparing clauses.
So, it looks different than I expected in the US.
Yes, that's a typical American construction.
Does one sound more educated than the other?
No, it's purely a regional preference, not a correctness issue.
What about saying speak to someone versus speak with someone?
Both are generally fine, but speak to is more common in be.
and speak with for AE, implying conversation.
Yes, speak with can imply a two-way discussion more strongly.
Are there situations where one preposition is strictly preferred?
In highly formal or academic writing, consistency is paramount.
So, choose one dialect and stick to its conventions.
That's generally the safest approach for clarity.
Can a misused preposition really create a problem?
In specific technical contexts, a preposition can change meaning.
Like responsible for versus responsible to.
Yes, those have distinct implications of duty and reporting.
So, it's more than just sounding foreign.
Indeed, precision matters in certain professional settings.
Okay, I'll pay closer attention to prepositions.
Good. Next, present perfect versus simple past usage.
Like I just finished versus I have just finished.
Exactly. This is a very common and subtle difference.
How do they differ in usage?
British English frequently uses the present perfect for recent actions.
So, I've just eaten lunch in the UK?
That's the typical construction, emphasizing recentness.
And American English often uses the simple past instead?
Yes, I just ate lunch is more common in the US.
Even though it just implies very recent.
The adverb just allows for the simple past tense in AE.
Does one imply a longer time gap than the other?
No, the perceived immediacy is roughly the same.
So it's purely a grammatical construction difference.
Mostly. It's about which tense is conventionally paired with just.
Are there other adverbs that cause this variation?
Already and yet also show this pattern sometimes.
So, have you done it yet, in BE?
Yes, or I haven't done it yet, using present perfect.
And did you do it yet, in AE?
That's a common American formulation using simple past.
This feels like a rule that's easy to break unintentionally.
It is. It's often learned through immersion rather than rules.
Could an American using present perfect sound overly formal?
Perhaps slightly or just a bit more British in tone.
And a Brit using simple past with a just, for example.
They might sound Americanized, or slightly ungrammatical to some B speakers.
So, this affects the naturalness of speech.
Precisely. It's about sounding native to your chosen dialect.
Is there a risk of ambiguity with these tense differences?
Minimal risk of ambiguity, but it contributes to the overall accent.
So, it's more about stylistic preference than core meaning.
Yes, but consistent stylistic preference defines a dialect.
When writing, how does one decide which to use?
Follow the style guide of your target audience or publication.
What if no preference is specified?
Then choose one dialect and maintain its consistency throughout.
Okay, that makes sense for formal contexts.
Indeed. Now for auxiliary verbs like shall versus will.
Shall seems quite old-fashioned sometimes.
It does, especially in American English where will predominates.
How is shall still used in British English?
It's used for suggestions, offers, or expressing obligation.
So, shall we go for a suggestion?
Yes, that's a very common and polite British usage.
And I shall go for a formal declaration or obligation.
Exactly. It conveys a sense of certainty or duty in be.
American English would always use will then.
For suggestions, it uses should we or let's. For future, will.
So, will we go sounds less natural as a suggestion.
Yes, it sounds more like a question about future intention.
And I will go is a simple statement of future action.
Yes, in AE, will is the primary auxiliary for future.
Does shall ever appear in modern American English?
Rarely, mostly in very formal legal documents or archaic quotes.
So, using shall in the US might sound pretentious.
Or just outdated depending on the specific context.
Is shall truly dying out in BE, too?
It's less frequent in casual conversation, but still very present.
Particularly in specific formal or polite contexts.
Yes, shall I open the door? Remains perfectly natural.
So, it signals a certain register or politeness level.
Exactly. It has specific pragmatic functions in be.
Could misunderstanding arise from shall vs will?
Rarely, but a suggestion might be taken as a firm statement by some.
Or vice versa, a firm statement as just a suggestion.
Possibly, but context usually clarifies the speaker's intent.
So, primarily a stylistic choice, and
Yes, but one that significantly colors the impression.
when learning, should one actively use shall for BE?
For polite offers and suggestions, yes, it's a good skill.
But probably avoid it for general future tense in AE.
Absolutely. Stick to will for general future in AE.
Understood. A clear usage boundary there.
Indeed. Next, have you got versus do you have for possession?
These both mean the same, right?
Yes, they both inquire about possession, but their usage varies.
How is have you got typically used?
It's very common and natural in British English for possession.
So, have you got any money in the UK?
That's the standard, widely accepted way to ask.
And do you have any money in American English?
Yes. Do you have is the prevailing form in the US.
Does have you got sound incorrect in the US?
It might sound it. it might sound a little formal or old-fashioned.
So, we've reviewed the grammar differences from our last session.
Indeed, after pronunciation and vocabulary, grammar was our last focus.
How significant are these grammatical nuances for learners?
They are generally minor distinctions, not major barriers to understanding.
Does one really need to memorize every single variation?
No, awareness is key, not strict memorization for every instance.
So, a deeper dive into grammar isn't critical for communication?
Overemphasis can detract from fluid expression, a common learner pitfall.
But ignoring them completely might lead to some awkward phrasing.
True, subtle missteps occur, but they rarely cause true confusion.
Are there specific grammatical structures that learners struggle with most?
Verb conjugations and prepositions often present initial hurdles.
Such as differences in on the weekend versus at the weekend?
Exactly, those small fixed phrases can vary by region.
How quickly do learners naturally pick up on these variations?
With consistent exposure, patterns emerge quite naturally for most.
Does this mean active study of grammar rules is less important?
Immersive input often provides a more intuitive grasp of usage.
So, hearing the grammar in context is more effective than rules.
Absolutely, contextual learning builds a stronger linguistic foundation.
What if a learner makes a grammatical mistake common in another dialect?
Most native speakers will readily understand the intended meaning.
So, communication takes precedence over absolute grammatical conformity.
Yes, clarity and effective message delivery remain the primary goals.
This brings us to language's role beyond just rules.
Indeed, grammar reflects identity, a fascinating cultural aspect.
How does a specific dialect connect to a nation's character?
It embodies unique expressions and historical trajectories of its people.
So, British English reflects British identity, and American.
Precisely, it serves as a linguistic mirror for national heritage.
Does this mean choosing a dialect implies choosing an identity?
Not necessarily, but it often aligns with cultural affinity or interest.
Can an American learning BE feel a connection to British culture?
Certainly, language learning deepens appreciation for another way of life.
Are there risks in overemphasizing this identity aspect?
It can sometimes foster a sense of linguistic gatekeeping or exclusivity.
So, it might create barriers between speakers of different English forms.
Yes, if one dialect is seen as inherently superior or more authentic.
But surely a language reflects unique cultural nuances.
It does through idioms, humor, and specific ways of relating ideas.
Can these cultural ties make it harder for an outsider to learn?
They can add layers of complexity, but also richness to the experience.
So, understanding the culture enhances language acquisition?
It provides essential context for phrases and social interactions.
Does a strong cultural identification help motivation to learn?
Definitely. Passion for the culture fuels dedication to the language.
So, embracing the cultural identity behind the dialect is helpful.
It makes the learning journey more engaging and profoundly meaningful.
Moving from identity, both dialects have immense global reach.
Yes, their influence extends far beyond their respective nations.
How would you describe the worldwide presence of British English?
It's prominent in former colonial territories and diplomatic circles.
And American English, where is its strongest international presence?
It holds sway in entertainment, technology, and popular culture.
Is one truly more dominant on the world stage than the other?
E often seems more widespread due to media consumption.
But B maintains strong academic and governmental influence, correct?
Indeed, especially in regions with historical ties to the UK.
So, they both have significant but distinct spheres of influence.
That's a fair assessment of their current international standing.
Are there countries where both forms of English are equally common?
In some places like parts of Europe, exposure to both is high.
How does this dual exposure affect English language education there?
Learners often become accustomed to variations and adapt readily.
Does this mean a blended form of international English is emerging?
Perhaps a more generalized variety, less tied to one specific locale.
So, global users are creating their own flexible English standards.
They're certainly shaping its practical application and everyday usage.
The global presence is heavily shaped by entertainment consumption.
Yes, cultural content plays a massive role in dialect adoption.
How do film and television impact a learner's dialect preference?
Exposure to popular shows often leads to unconscious mirroring.
So, if someone watches many American movies, they lean AE.
Likely, their ear adapts to the sounds and rhythms they frequently hear.
What about the impact of music on language acquisition?
Song lyrics and pronunciation can subtly influence a listener's speech.
Does this mean media can unconsciously bias a learner's choice?
It can certainly predispose them towards one dialect over another.
So, the media landscape directly molds linguistic preferences?
Its pervasive nature makes it a very powerful and shaping force.
Are there ways to counteract this unconscious bias from media?
Conscious selection of diverse content can balance exposure.
So, actively seeking out both British and American media?
Yes, it helps broaden understanding and reduce singular influence.
Does this apply to news media and documentaries as well?
Absolutely, different sources offer varied perspectives in speech.
So, choosing varied entertainment resources is important.
It fosters a more comprehensive and balanced linguistic perspective.
This influence often makes learners wonder which dialect to choose.
A common dilemma, and one with many valid personal answers.
What's your primary advice for a new learner deciding?
Consider your personal goals and the people you'll communicate with.
If I plan to study in the UK, should I focus on British English?
Yes, aligning with your destination offers immediate practical benefits.
What if my goal is broad international communication, not a specific region?
Then focus on clear articulation, avoiding overly strong regionalisms.
Is one dialect inherently easier or harder to acquire than the other?
No, difficulty is subjective and depends on your native tongue's phonology.
Are there specific career paths where one dialect is preferred?
Some industries like publishing might have regional preferences.
So, research your field's linguistic norms if career is a factor.
Absolutely, it can streamline professional interactions significantly.
What if I simply prefer the sound of one over the other?
Personal preference is a perfectly valid and motivating factor.
So, there's no universally correct answer for dialect selection?
None at all. The best choice is always deeply personal and practical.
Once a choice is made, is it ever beneficial to adapt dialects?
Certainly, adapting your speech enhances linguistic flexibility.
You mean like code switching, moving between dialects?
Precisely, it involves consciously shifting your linguistic style.
What are the main advantages of developing this skill?
It allows you to connect more deeply with diverse groups of speakers.
Does it make you appear more culturally sensitive?
Often yes, as it shows respect for the listener's linguistic norms.
Is it difficult to learn how to fluidly switch between them?
It requires practice and a keen ear for dialectal cues and patterns.
So, it's about active listening and then consciously adjusting?
That's the core of developing effective dialect adaptation abilities.
Can excessive switching lead to confusion for the speaker?
Initially, perhaps, but with mastery, it becomes seamless and natural.
Does this skill extend beyond just British and American English?
Yes, it's valuable for navigating regional accents within one dialect too.
So, it builds overall linguistic agility?
It significantly boosts your adaptability and communicative range.
Therefore, actively practicing dialect adaptation is very useful.
It's a powerful tool for any global English speaker to cultivate.
Speaking of practice, what immersion strategies do you recommend?
Surround yourself with the target dialect as much as possible.
How can one do this without physically moving to the country?
Create a rich virtual environment through digital content and contacts.
Can changing phone language settings make a difference?
Small changes like that add up to significant ambient exposure.
What about engaging in online communities or forums?
Interacting with native speakers provides authentic usage patterns.
Are there specific audio-based methods for immersion?
Listening to podcasts or radio from the target region is highly effective.
Should I just passively listen, or actively engage with the content?
Active engagement like transcribing or summarizing accelerates learning.
What if finding native speakers for interaction is challenging?
Language exchange apps or online tutors can bridge that gap.
Is it important to vary the type of content for immersion?
Yes, diverse content exposes you to different vocabularies and contexts.
So, mixing news, interviews, and casual conversations helps.
It builds a more robust and flexible understanding of the dialect.
Active engagement is crucial for effective immersion, then.
Indeed, consistent, focused practice yields the best linguistic results.
Another strategy is to utilize entertainment resources directly.
Leveraging entertainment is an enjoyable and effective method.
How can learners maximize their gains from watching movies?
Start with subtitles in English, then try watching without them.
Is watching TV shows from the target region also beneficial?
Absolutely, series offer sustained exposure to character speech patterns.
What about using podcasts for dialect learning?
They are excellent for listening practice, especially during commutes.
Should I stick to a particular genre of podcasts?
Explore various genres to encounter different tones and subjects.
Are there specific features in media players that can help?
Looping short segments or adjusting playback speed can be useful.
How does repeating dialogue from films contribute to learning?
It helps internalize pronunciation and intonation more effectively.
So, it's not just passive viewing, but active linguistic interaction?
Exactly, turning passive consumption into active learning engagement.
Does watching with native language subtitles defeat the purpose?
It can be a starting point for comprehension, but switch to English quickly.
So, using digital content strategically can greatly improve skills.
It's an accessible and enjoyable way to reinforce dialect acquisition.
Regardless of dialect choice, maintaining clear understanding is vital.
Absolutely. Clarity in communication should always be paramount.
Can an authentic accent sometimes hinder global understanding?
If the accent is very strong or regional, it might present challenges.
So, speaking standard forms of either dialect is generally safer.
Yes, widely understood variations ensure broader comprehensibility.
Are there specific pronunciation aspects to focus on for clarity?
Enunciating consonants and distinct vowel sounds helps immensely.
Does speaking at a moderate pace also improve understanding?
It certainly allows listeners more time to process your words.
Should learners avoid using slang or very informal expressions?
In formal or mixed dialect settings, moderation is a wise approach.
So, simplifying vocabulary for a global audience can be useful.
Choosing universally recognized terms minimizes potential misunderstandings.
How important is rhythm and intonation for cross-dialect communication?
They convey meaning and emotion, so consistent patterns are valuable.
Does adapting your vocabulary to your audience help?
Yes, being aware of what terms your listeners understand is considerate.
So, clear communication transcends specific dialectal norms.
It is the ultimate goal, fostering connection across all linguistic divides.
This leads to embracing dialect appreciation for language variations.
Acknowledging and respecting all forms of English is fundamental.
Are some dialects unfairly judged as less correct or sophisticated?
Unfortunately, linguistic biases can exist, but they are unfounded.
So, there's no inherent superiority of one dialect over another.
Each dialect serves its community perfectly and is equally valid.
How can learners actively cultivate this sense of appreciation?
By listening widely and valuing the unique characteristics of each form.
Does this mean avoiding criticism of non-standard speech?
Yes, fostering an open mind towards diverse linguistic expressions is key.
How does embracing linguistic diversity benefit a learner?
It broadens their perspective and enhances their overall communicative empathy.
Does it make them more patient listeners and speakers?
Certainly, promoting tolerance for varied speech patterns.
So, Valuing differences strengthens linguistic confidence.
It empowers learners to use English authentically without fear of judgment.
This respect fosters an environment where English can evolve.
Indeed, embracing diversity shapes the future of English dialects.
Do you foresee these two major dialects converging over time?
Global interactions might lead to some shared vocabulary and structures.
But will the distinct sounds and rhythms eventually disappear?
Probably not entirely. Regional identities tend to persist in speech.
So, they might become more mutually intelligible but remain distinct.
That's a very plausible evolutionary path for these dialects.
What factors might drive further divergence instead of convergence?
Cultural innovation and unique social trends could push them apart.
Does the Internet accelerate both convergence and divergence?
It facilitates both broad exposure and niche linguistic communities.
So, there isn't a clear single trajectory for future English.
Language is dynamic, constantly adapting to its speakers' needs.
Will global English users create entirely new variations?
New forms are already emerging, often called world Englishes.
Does this mean the British versus American distinction will fade?
It might become less central as other Englishes gain prominence.
So, the future holds a more diverse linguistic landscape?
Certainly, a rich tapestry of English forms will continue to develop.
In this evolving landscape, clarity becomes even more crucial.
Absolutely, communicative effectiveness trumps rigid correctness.
Does focusing on perfect grammar or accent overshadow meaning?
Sometimes, overthinking can impede natural and clear expression.